Okay, good evening and welcome to the Meridian Parks and Recreation Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 13th, 2021 at 5:34 p.m. Rachel, could you please take roll?
Yes, thank you. Joe Greer,
Present.
Dom Gelsomino, Jennifer Bobo is absent. Camden Hyde,
Present.
Autumn Short is absent. Keith Bevan,
You will be late.
pardon me?
He'll be arriving late.
Thank you. John Nesmith,
Present.
Jessica West,
Present.
and Councilmember Jessica Perot is absent.
Well, this is going to be up to you guys tonight. Okay, so next we need an adoption of the agenda.
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino.
I make a motion for to adopt tonight's agenda.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is adopted. Do I need to do the approval of the minutes separate? Yeah, John's nodding yes. Could I please get an approval of the minutes for the August 11th, 2021 regular meeting?
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the August 11th, 2021 regular meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh. We need a second.
Oh,
I'll second.
sorry. Commissioner Hyde seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the approval of the minutes for the September 8th, 2021 special meeting.
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the September 8th, 2021 special meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we have some special announcements. First, we have, I'm pleased to announce that we have Commissioner Camden Hyde returning. And can I say something or?
I think you just said it, but we're excited to have Camden Hyde. He was willing to join us as our youth, rejoin us as our youth commissioner. And he's been a tremendous asset over the past year. We're excited that you're willing to take it on for another year. So welcome back.
And I just wanted to add to that. Thank you for being so involved. We've had students and we've had really good insight on a lot of topics. Next, we have a farewell to Commissioner Jessica West.
So do you want to go first or do you want me to? You're welcome to go first if you'd like to share.
Okay, I better go first so I can get through it. Okay, Commissioner West, thank you for your unprecedented service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. You have made a difference in Meridian Parks, pathways, events, and future amenities. And I personally cannot thank you enough and want to emphasize how your dedication has assisted this commission from leading meetings to leading Elf on the Shelf, the movement for our commission Christmas and Meridian float. You brought leadership, ideas, positive energy, and valid concerns in areas requiring attention. Your sharp attention to detail often helped others, me included, gain a broader perspective of the tasks at hand. Because of this, you have made us all better at serving on the commission. And while I'm sad to see you go, and it won't be the same without you, I wish you the best of luck.
Madam President, on behalf of the department, I also want to thank you, Jessica, for your service to the commission. You haven't hesitated to join in the conversations and speak up, which we really appreciate. Joe mentioned the Elf on the Shelf suggestion for the float, and we actually tried to find an elf on the shelf that was going to make an appearance as we were talking about you, and we were going to point him out and say, look, he's reporting back to Santa that you've been a good commissioner. So Santa, take note that Jessica's been a great commissioner for us, and we do thank you on behalf of the department. So
Thank you so much. You all know I really enjoyed being on this commission, and I often ask way too many questions, but I appreciate everyone's patience and support. But I usually do take a little while to make sure I understand exactly what's being asked or that we're looking at. So everyone's been wonderful to work with and been very positive and supportive. And, you know, this commission's made a lot of huge changes and impacts to the city, along with, of course, the Parks and Rec department. But I mean, it seems like it's a lot of a team. This commission really relies on the Parks and Rec department, and they've been like phenomenal in bringing us issues or areas that they're seeking input or ideas, and really allowed us to get involved and, you know, assist with that design or plan or activity. And I mean, I think that's just something that a lot of commissions and areas don't get the opportunity to explore. And with this department, it's been wonderful, right? It really feels like it's a team. And so I really appreciate everyone that we've worked with throughout on the commission and with the department. It's been a wonderful experience. So thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
thank you. And I would just follow up by saying, you know, we do appreciate the team feeling from all of the commissioners, and you've been a big part of that. And I would say we welcome the questions, because they help us to get it right and to make us better. So that's why we have a commission, to help us make sure we're asking the right questions. So thank you.
And sometimes those questions were things, a lot of times it was something I didn't think of. So I thought it was very good. So, okay, I got through it. I had to write it down in case I cried. Okay. Okay, next we have upcoming events with Shelley Houston.
Hold on, we're checking the mics.
Check, check, check. Oh, there we go. Hello, commissioners. How are you tonight? I've given you each the upcoming calendar of events. Like, it just keeps cycling through, and we seem to have more and more activities coming up. I do want to point out that tomorrow morning will be a coffee with the mayor. What's kind of special about this is, in a small way, it's in a Meridian Park, in that it's going to be at the Meridian Senior Center. So that'll go from 8 to 9:30 tomorrow. Anyone's welcome to stop by and stay as little or as long as they want for some refreshments and conversation, networking. Maybe they have specific issues to ask of city leaders or some idea or suggestion to give. So coffee with the mayor is always a great option, and we'll do that tomorrow morning at the Senior Center. We're getting the time of the year where we need to recycle the fall, and we have a couple leaf options for our residents. Again, like last year, we'll be placing large leaf-only dumpsters in about 9 or 10 of our city parks, as well as the other options are like the Republic Services Transfer Station and Siemens Gulch, the dump, whatever, what's that called? The landfill. So anyway, we'll be communicating with citizens of how they can drop off their leaves in the next several weeks. We'll also be doing the Rake Up Meridian service project. That's going well. We'll have our Meridian Town Hall meeting on October 20th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. That'll be kind of a virtual only meeting. And we're going to hear from someone from the school district, one of the superintendents, and then we'll also be handing out the Meridian Star Awards that go to people and businesses who have been especially good neighbors that have been nominated to be honored. Then that just takes us into Trunk or Treat in downtown Meridian on the 21st of October. And then it just goes from there. There's a prescription drug take back. We'll be holding a Halloween disc golf tournament in costume, literally on Halloween day. And then raising funds through our Holiday Classic volleyball and cornhole tournaments. We'll be celebrating Veterans Day with our veterans of the Rock of Honor in Kleiner Park. And then it'll be time for Christmas in Meridian. So that'll take us through to the end of the year. So if you have questions about any or all of those activities, you can always come and find me and I can fill you in. The second sheet I gave you each is a save the date Again, our Parks Department is going to illuminate and decorate a float for you to ride through the Winter Lights Parade if you'd like. We have room for your spouse or significant other or a couple family members. So I've given you the details of Friday, December 3rd, Story Parks, the staging area. You can come a little early and stay warm and toasty in the chamber office. So I'll be reminding you a little more about that and checking with you one by one to see if you intend to ride, and if so, how many guests might be with you, just so we don't overload the poor float, which we never have before, but I just want to make sure.
I would just say, please intend to ride.
Yes, nothing
hope you
sadder
will.
than an empty float. That's depressing. So anyway, we'll hope you'll want to do that. Does anyone at this time have any questions about anything you're seeing or hearing here? No? Okay, well, we hope you'll join us for some of these, whatever catches your fancy. If you have questions, you can always catch up with us in the Parks office. So thank you, and thank you for your service. Jessica, you're a rock star.
Thank you, Shelley. Okay, we have some exciting new business. We have the Meridian Parks and Rec Master Plan Community Center Needs Assessment Kickoff with Art Thatcher, with Green Play.
Madam President, I'm going to kick it off from here.
Okay.
Madam President and Commissioners, pleased to be before you tonight to introduce Art Thatcher. Art is our lead consultant with Green Play. Green Play was the lead of the consultant team that did our Parks and Recreation Master Plan in 2015. We are contracting with them to update that master plan. It's only been 6 years, not even quite, and our population has grown by over 50% since we did it. And like we've talked about before, it's time to update the plan, even though we don't. It was said to me before, it seems like you guys have a good direction. And I'd say, yeah, we're not directionless. We have a good plan. And I would also say that, the master plan that we have has not sat on the shelf. We pull it off the shelf regularly and refer to it and use it. It was a great process when we embarked on it 6 years ago. And I'm trying to remember who might have been on the commission then. Certainly John Nesmith was. I can't remember if anyone else was, but for anyone that was involved then, I think you'll agree with me that it was a great process in that there was a lot of public outreach, public involvement, a lot of consensus building, outreach to the community, focus group, stakeholders. And we have two key additions to the process that we did before. Then I'm going to turn over to Art. One of them is the community center feasibility study that will be part of this master plan update. And two is our cost recovery analysis that will also be part of this process. So we look forward to those. And with that, as kind of a general introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Art, and I'll make myself available to answer any questions along the way or when he's done. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. It's my pleasure to kind of be with you this evening from Virginia. And I look forward to working with you over the next 8 months or so as we update the master plan. And then, as Steve said, we embark on the community center feasibility study and the cost recovery financial sustainability plan. I had the pleasure of being the project manager for the 2015 plan. And so I'm serving in that same role with the master plan update. I'm going to share my screen. And so we are, Green Play is leading the process, and we have a pretty extensive team. Working with me this time will be Tom Deal, who's one of the other principals, and he will be heading up our the feasibility study for the community center. And then Teresa Jackson, who's a project manager for us, she'll be heading up the cost recovery, financial sustainability piece of the project. Dave Peterson and Kaylin Valier will be doing the inventory level service analysis update, our grasp analysis update for the master plan, adding in your new facilities, and then looking at the existing facilities and updating the grasp inventory that we conducted last time. John Brecken from Brecken Land Design is back with us again, and he will be helping to look and update the trails portion of the plan, as well as doing the conceptual designs for the community center feasibility study. And then finally, Steve Simone from RRC will be working with us, and Rachel. They'll both be working with us to do the statistically valid survey and then the community-wide online survey. And I'll talk about those a little bit further as we kind of go along. So Green Play, just to kind of refresh you and kind of talk about us a little bit. We are all experienced and curious consultants. You know, I've been with Green Play for 8 years. Prior to that, I spent 30 years as a Parks and Recreation Administrator in the Hampton Roads region of Virginia. So as we like to say, we've been on your side of the table. We understand kind of the unique role that Parks and Recreation plays in creating extraordinary places. One of the things that I remember in 2015 when we were working on the master plan, that Meridian was voted as the #1 community in the country for people to want to live and to move to. And your growth over the past 5 years or 6 years has proven that to be correct. We bring the best practices from our national work. We understand community dynamics and how they're ever changing. Again, we're consultants that have been on your side of the table. And I think the one thing that that I look at greatly is that we like to build relationships. We believe that relationships, both with staff and with stakeholders, are key to any successful plan. And so, we're very pleased to kind of be back working with you and working with the team again. And so as we build our master plans, we want to make and help communities thrive. And so we look at this concept of sustainability as we develop the plans. We know that every plan needs to have a financial and an economic component to it. We know that there needs to be a social kind of recreational component to it. And then we know that there needs to be an environmental component. As long as we can keep those in balance, that we know that we can really build a plan that management can use, is balanced, and really creates a sustainable department. And so we make sure that we build on all three of those pieces. So Meridian has a lot to offer. You have a lot to celebrate from 5 years ago, 6 years ago when we were there. You're doing a lot of great things. You've developed a lot of great things, and the community is really involved in that. And so we'll continue to build on your successes from the past 6 years and look at what the future holds for you. And so our process is really a 4-step process. And as Steve said, there's a lot of community and public engagement in this. We're in the process in this first circle, and we held a strategic kickoff with the staff. And so we developed some critical success factors, looked at some key focus areas, and set up our schedule, identified key stakeholders. And then we're gathering and looking at, key documents, the previous master plan, your current comprehensive plan, the general plan for the city, and other documents, planning documents that have been developed, so that we know that all of those are in line and they complement each other, that nothing that comes out of the master plan is in conflict with any of the other adopted planning documents. And then we're in this kind of final stage of briefing decision makers. I met last night and did a briefing with the city council, and then tonight meeting with you. And over the next couple of days, I'll be doing some individual interviews with the mayor and city council members, as well as you and commissioners. And I apologize that the first email and the link that I sent out to the calendar didn't work. I resent it about 45 minutes ago, and Steve has been gracious enough to check it, and it's working properly. So you shouldn't have any problem looking at dates and times. And if none of those times work out for you that I've put out there, just let me know, and we'll schedule another time that I can have a chance to meet with you. And so from there, we'll quickly move into our information gathering phase, this first phase in the needs assessment piece, talking with staff, stakeholders, holding some more public meetings, doing focus groups, doing these individual interviews, doing our survey, and then I'm looking at some online engagement pieces. As I mentioned, we'll be doing our inventory, updating the GRASP inventory and analysis, be looking at that level of service from your new components and your new development, and then looking where future development will be occurring and how we can accommodate that. And then also we're looking at kind of doing a community profile, looking at your demographics, and then also looking at trends, both regionally and nationally, so that we can put all this information together. Once we've gathered all that data, we'll come back and do our findings presentation, another touch point for the community, where we'll present our findings from all of those data points, look at where there are recurring themes, and then we'll sit down with staff and our key issues matrix and begin to identify and prioritize those issues and begin to develop some preliminary recommendations for how we address those. We'll also be doing an analysis of your programs, your operations, your maintenance, your marketing and communication, as well as your financial resources on a higher scale before we get into the deep dive into the cost recovery and the financial sustainability piece. From there, we'll go and begin to start drafting the master plan. We'll develop our recommendations and our action tables. We'll come back. We'll review those recommendations with the staff, with the council, and with the commission, and then also present some of those to the community, and then begin putting the master plan together to finally come back with a final plan to you for adoption and recommendation to council, and then finally to council, and then comes the implementation piece of that. And so here's our schedule as we've established it with all of those. As I said, we had our kickoff meeting back on October 10th with the project team. We're conducting our leadership interviews this week. The survey will go out in October. We're sending the survey out early so that we can get some components of the community center feasibility study included in those, so that we can really ramp that up. And I know that's a high priority for the council to get that feasibility study done. So we'll be working on that. The feasibility study will begin in November as we begin to get results back from the survey. And we'll be doing some staff charrettes and some meetings, and then moving kind of through the March timeframe. We're hoping to be able to push that more into the January, February timeframe for finishing up that study, and a lot of that will be dependent on the response and the returns from the survey. We're conducting our community engagement in the November timeframe. We'll be doing focus groups and stakeholder meetings in person the week of the 16th through the 18th of November. We'll also be doing stakeholder meetings and working with some specific groups. We'll be doing a specific teen focus group, a specific senior focus group, and then we'll also be talking to the department heads as a group, as well as conducting some citizen at large meetings. We'll culminate all of that the evening of the 18th with a public presentation, again, reporting out our findings from the week and those recurring themes that we see kind of going forward. Also in the November timeframe, Dave and Kaylin will be there updating the inventory and then working on their level of service analysis to kind of have that complete in the December timeframe. After the first of the year, we'll kick off our cost recovery study. We do host 3 workshops with that. So again, more public input. The public helps us with that as we develop that. I'm kind of looking at that January to May timeframe. We'll be back in March to conduct our findings for the overall community center feasibility study, as well as the master plan update. Looking at May for the recommendations presentation, and then finishing up the project in the June, July timeframe. So as I mentioned, we have a really robust, multifaceted public engagement process, the information gathering with our leadership interviews, the staff SWOT analysis, focus groups, town hall, public forums, as well as the mailed survey and then the open link survey. And so this just kind of gives you a view of kind of how all those pieces come together. We'll also be doing some social media things, as well as conducting some virtual meetings as well. So again, so our next step is this: we're going to begin the information gathering phase of the project, and so we hope that you will participate in some of the focus groups and give your input, as well as participating in the survey when it becomes available. And so that's my kind of briefing for you and where we are. I'll stop sharing, and then we can open up the floor to any questions that you might have.
I guess you're off the hook tonight.
Madam President,
Yes.
not a question for Art, but comment to the commission. I think I mentioned at the last meeting to get ready, because you're going to get busy soon. And you've just seen an overview. I think the next 8 months are going to be both very busy and very rewarding. Lots of discussions to come. The first thing right out the gate that we need you to do is to find the email that Art sent you this afternoon and sign up for an interview time that works for you. I believe those are 30-minute windows, right, Art?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, it normally lasts about 20. We schedule 30 minutes. The conversation typically lasts about 20, 25 minutes.
But we do want to talk with each of you up front as we are going into this process, so that we can just capture early your thoughts, desires, vision that we can make part of this process. So thank you in advance for your participation, and I hope you'll look for that tonight or soon.
Exciting. Okay. Next, we have the Meridian, and thank you, Art. I don't mean to just dismiss that. It is a big deal, and I did just check. I do have the email. I'm on my mission. Next, we have the Meridian Home Court update with Jake.
Well, before Jake starts, if there are no questions, then I'm going to step off, and I appreciate the time, and I look forward to working with you over the next 8 months. It's a very exciting opportunity, and very, very privileged to be leading the process. So y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Art.
Yes, I'm on, right? Correct. Madam President, thank you for having me here to come forward tonight and share with you a little bit about Home Court. Appreciate the opportunity. I feel like I should be facing this way, keeping my eyes on Garrett, because Garrett has a really, really bad habit of taking photos when you're not looking. So keep
Christmas
an eye on him.
slideshow material.
Yeah, slideshow material. And I seem to be the butt of the Christmas slideshow every year. So like I need to talk to Garrett over here. Meridian Home Court, what is it? It's a facility that contains 4 basketball courts, 12 pickleball, actually 14 pickleball courts, 6 volleyball courts, actually 7 volleyball courts now that we got one in court 5, and also a big room for community education that Jenna offers classes in. But more importantly, Home Court is a community center, and it belongs to the citizens of Meridian. And I don't know where to go next. Oh, there we go. Meridian Home Court serves as a community center to the citizens of Meridian and the Treasure Valley as a whole. It is the goal of the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department to create and provide a fair and equal opportunity for facility usage. And when I take that into consideration when scheduling the facility. Working towards finding that balance so it exists, that court space is available to the general public. Home court is membership based, and you will see later on in the presentation, there are a lot of times that are used both in the morning and in the evening hours. And it's my goal to find a balance within those reservations so we do have open court space available to the general public. So that's kind of front and center is my mission and my goal as the facility manager, to make sure that space is readily available for families and friends and kids, whether it be before school, after school, during the summer, that they can use that facility. Because I think there's this stigma out there that home court is this facility that's used for all these AAU groups, Y basketball, things like that. That is true. They are in that facility a lot, but more importantly, it's a community center that belongs to the citizens of Meridian. So that's something that I take very importantly, is trying to find a balance to keep the court space open. Our hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturdays and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Currently, we are closed on the weekends due to a staffing shortage. We are in the process of bringing our second home court facility specialist on board. He will begin work the week of October 25th. This young man's hours are going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, so it will allow us to open back up on the weekends so we can meet the needs of those weekend warriors that want to come in and play basketball, pickleball, volleyball, things like that. So we are remaining committed to those special events that we have scheduled on the weekends. Some of those events have been canceled. And they've been canceled, not on our end. We've been very open that we want to stay committed for those events, but the folks that have scheduled those events have chose not to offer those due to what's going on with our current situation of COVID. So we do have an event in there this weekend. They are moving forward with it. It's a kendo clinic for one of our current instructors on Saturday and Sunday. Then also Sunday afternoon, we have a local volleyball group that's going to be in the facility for tryouts. So this is my crew. This is my home court staff. Ross Cipriano, he has been with our department for,
I believe it'll be 10 years. in
yeah, he's been
February.
with us for a while. He's been with me at home court since I moved over there in August of 2019. So our staff consists of 3 home court supervisors and 2 home court facility specialists. Just this last, I think it was June or July, City Council approved to take, we did have 6 part-time people working at home court. That was our staffing model. We took 4 of those positions and turned them into 2 more full-time positions. So this is how the staff looks now. Ross, Ilwy, and Renee are our full-time home court site supervisors. Bo Stevens has been with us for a couple of years, and our new onboard home court facility specialist is Michael Riddle. So there's going to be five employees that work under the roof of home court. 3 full-time, 4 including me, then the 2 part-time staff. Ross's hours, well, I'll just start with Renee. Renee is our newest home court site supervisor. She is responsible for opening the facility each morning, Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Ross comes in at 1:30 to 2:30. It kind of varies, and he works till 10:30 Monday through Friday. Ilwy works 1:30 to 10:30, and his days off are Wednesdays and Thursdays. He is the individual that's responsible. He's the site supervisor on the weekends that works with our home court facility specialists who work part-time. So our home court facility specialists are part-time employees. They can work up to 19 and a half hours per week. And feel very fortunate, have a great staff. Very thankful that both Garrett and Steve had a lot of help and a lot of feedback from Garrett since he had been in the facility, that we just needed to find a better way to staff the facility because we were seeing so much turnover. Since, I think it was December 16th, we had hired 19 part-time people, 17 had left. And those folks that we hire, those part-time folks, they're college students, they work other jobs, their schedules change. So we were just rolling through them. We'd get them trained, we'd get comfortable with them, and they would get another job, or we'd have a semester change at school, then their schedule just didn't fit with us anymore. So it's been a challenge. But I think the model that we got now with the 3 full-time home court site supervisors and the 2 part-time people, plus Skylar has been moved over there. He's a recreation coordinator. He works out of the back office with me. It's been a great welcome. So the goal is to have 2 to 3 employees on staff at all times, for safety reasons, or demographic, oftentimes in the mornings, or the active seniors. Things do happen, so it's nice to have ample people around to ensure people are safe. Memberships, pretty cheap and affordable, and that's what people like and love about home court. An adult resident for a monthly membership is exactly that. It's 30 days. It's 30 days in the calendar month. It's not a punch pass. It's just 30 days from the start date of purchase. Adult residents are $20. Youth and senior residents are $15, and non-resident memberships are $25. Those numbers on the right, those were pulled as of this morning. So they are accurate. Currently, what we're doing with our memberships we're working through those folks that had active memberships at the first COVID closure back in mid-March of 2020. And so we were closed from March 17th of 2020 to May 4th of 2020. So we opened up May 4th, then we remained open till, I believe it was November 13th. Then we were closed until February 4th of 21. So we still have people, we're still working with people, we're still waiting for people to come in that had those memberships back in March 16th of 20, so we can give them their days that we owe them for their monthly memberships. So I think it's the right thing to do. We've documented who those people are. We go off the closure dates, and we kind of work backwards and grant them days back as needed. We're also working through those 2 closure dates and also a floor resurfacing project that kind of snuck up on us this August. In discussion with Garrett and Steve, we originally were not going to do it due to our 2 closures from COVID. Our goal was to stay open, keep the facility open, but the floors got in such bad shape that they really needed to be done. So August 30th, we closed down, and We sanded the floors, not we had at Hicks Brothers. We sanded the floors and we went away from a water-based finish to an oil-based finish. So we had to stay closed for a couple weeks because of the smell is really bad and it's really not safe to be in there. So the goal is the oil-based finish is a little more, it cures a little harder. So the goal is to get us through until next August when we redo the floors again, to not have as much wear and tear, the black marks on the floor. So kind of be a little more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And not, when you walk in, you don't see these little black marks all over the place. So it's been well received. The pickleball folks complain about it because it is a high gloss finish. And I did reach out to the gentleman that does the floors. He is going to look into getting something that's, I think it's called a sheen. It's something maybe next year that's not so glossy, and so we can keep our pickleball warriors happy and out of my office complaining about the flare. So, daily rates, as I mentioned earlier, home courts, really cheap, affordable. And a daily rate is just that. It's a daily rate. We get a lot of people that come in in the morning. They pay the day rate every day. I still can't figure out why they don't take advantage of the membership, the 30-day monthly membership, but, and they can come back in the evening. We give them this little pass, we write their name on it, we put a date on it, and we initial it, and they can come back anytime throughout the day, use the facility more than once, but just have to pay one time. For reservations, comparatively, these, I was doing some research earlier this week. These numbers they're right there with what's going on, both locally and on a national level. We are a little cheaper, but I think it's a fair and equitable price. We do have some discounts available with these court reservations. If you have 200 hours within a given time frame, right? Throughout, like, for example, Hoop Dreams, they rent over 500 hours. So they get our 500-hour discount, which is a 20% deduction each month for their fees. So Hoop Dreams they're going through a transition time right now, and I think it'll depict that later on in this presentation when I show you what times or what court space usage looks like in the evening. It's a little lower than what it has been, and I attribute that to COVID and a couple of organizations going through some transition times that, but I fully expect those dates a year from now to be booked and those courts to be booked as well. Hey, court space, how is it used? Okay, this is a view from a mile high. So what we have here is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is just the week. And all that yellow and orange that you see up at the top of the schedule, the pickleball, the ladder league, the noon basketball, all that stuff takes place on a pretty consistent basis each and every day, Monday through Friday. All four of those courts, as the weather's changing outside, the pickleball community is coming back indoors, and we are seeing all four courts busy with pickleball now. Last week, that wasn't the case. This week, temperatures dropped. People are making their way back into home court. The hours that start at 4:30 and go through close time, those are, last October, all of that red space was used. This October with COVID, everything that's going on, I think it's COVID. We do have ample space available in the evening at home court, and which is kind of good and bad. We're seeing a lot more community members coming in and just shooting and playing basketball, volleyball, and pickleball in the evening because there is space available. When they call in, we can tell them that space is available, which is a good thing. Meridian Home Court's a community center. So, and we're excited to have those folks in here, but if, you know, and looking forward to the next slide, I think there, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. Our department is also uses home court for some of our department activities. Our fall volleyball is currently running on court 1, and that takes place on Monday and Thursday evenings. And after that, they move right into winter volleyball, which starts in January and will conclude in March. And that'll remain on Monday and Thursday evenings. And the spring volleyball league will continue in mid-March after spring break, and they'll run that until May. But in December, Skylar's Adult Basketball League will kick off, and that will be held on court 4 Monday through Thursday. So our department takes advantage of the space that we have over there, and it's been a great addition for our department activities, you know, such as basketball and volleyball, and our participants, you know, that's where they want to play. That's the place to be when adult sports for basketball, volleyball. This is kind of the template that we put out year round at home court. Court 1, Saturday and Sunday, we always have 2 volleyball nets available. Courts 2 and 3, we leave open for basketball. Court 4, we leave it open for pickleball. We set up the pickleball on court 4 because it's closest to Bay 5. We can use Bay 5 for overflow if needed. My message to staff on the weekends when we reopen up, and it's always been this, is be flexible. We don't have to stick to this. Sometimes we will see pickleball sneak over to court 3. Pickleball is a huge sport. People come in when we open and they're there all day. So staff does a great job of being accommodating to folks. And this is kind of a template that we've been working with, and it seems to be working well. So I think we'll continue that when we open back. This is our current October evening schedule. And I have currently working with 2 groups to try to find them some space. They're raring to start up this month. One, they're having a hard time finding coaches. So this could change. It's not going to change drastically. Hoop Dreams has been with us for a while. Diamond Lane is an organization that's used the facility for a number of years. Premier Basketball is back. We do offer on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we have open volleyball and pickleball to the community. Thursdays was we did have adult basketball running Thursday evenings. We've kind of done away with that. We don't schedule it, but people do come down and play on court 4, or they'll play after Hoop Dreams is done at 7:30 on Thursday. So just because it's not on the schedule doesn't mean it doesn't happen to take place. So, but these are just reservations that I'm showing you right here with Diamond Lane, Hoop Dreams, and Premier. Those are paid reservations through a community youth activity or organization, excuse me. So this is October 2021. This is what October looked like last year, significantly different. Talked about a little bit. Hoop Dreams is going through some transition times. Berto Bergeson and his wife, they moved out of the area. He took a job at Eastern Washington University as an assistant basketball coach. There's a gentleman that lives, that has a business here in Meridian that is looking to keep Hoop Dreams together, looking at purchasing it, keeping their coaches in place. So currently working with him on trying to, they'll remain with us and just trying to help him through the process of, because he's also wanting to take on volleyball and bring back the boys or the boys basketball component of Hoop Dreams. Their numbers have kind of declined over the past seasons, so they're looking to kind of expand it into volleyball as well. Facility signage, this is something that we keep available at the front desk. It also is also available online. It just kind of shows you how the facility is scheduled. That first section up top is Monday through Friday, I should say. It's 7 to noon, and then down below is 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's when all the youth stuff takes place. We do see a number of people come and use the facility from noon to 4 before those youth teams come in. People do hang around and come in and play. The facility is readily used. This is something that we put up on each on basketball court, just kind of showing the folks that are using the facility when we have to ask them to leave, or we prep them 10 minutes. We've got a basketball group coming in that has this court reserved. It's just something that we can point to. Our patrons are getting used to it, so they know what to expect, how long they can play, how long they can be there, if and when a youth group is going to show up and use the court if it's reserved. It's also a great way down on the bottom, in the lower left hand. I've got suggested pickleball guidelines. Met with the pickleball community. We had some signage up there. Feedback was, from them, the majority of them is they don't read it. So simplify, so something they can look at, read in 2 seconds and know what the expectations are for pickleball play. Pretty simple. Court 1, we designate for advanced play. Court 2 is advanced intermediate. Court 3 is intermediate beginner, and court 4 is the beginner court. So all of this sign is placed on the west end of each court, and it just provides a daily schedule for each court within that day. As you can see up top, the home court or the pickleball folks, they refer to the courts as bays. So like court 1 is bay 1 in their world, because on court 1 of the basketball court, there's 3 pickleball courts. So when they're running a ladder league or a tournament, they send folks to court 1, or excuse me, bay 1, court 1, 2, or 3. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And for the volleyball and the basketball people, obviously the courts are referred to as such as courts. So. Future special events, PGC basketball, they've been trying to get out here for a while. I think they're located in Des Moines, Iowa. They're coming out here to run a point guard camp. They've got about 50 kids signed up from all over the West, Northwest. So we are going to, our facility's closed, but we're obviously going to open for this facility, for this event. Was a little hesitant because they were just here in August. And when I say here, they had a clinic over at NNU. So I didn't know if it was going to be, how it was going to be received, just because they were just in town not too long ago. They do a really nice job. They have some big names in the game of basketball. So I'm looking forward to having them here coming next weekend. We have the Holiday Classic Volleyball Tournament, November 6th. Flash Basketball, which is a local AAU group tournament, November 19th, January 21, 22, and February 11th and 12th. Do the annual Brian Dunn. We typically do that every year. Didn't do it last year, but that will be New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And have one USA Wrestling State Championship meet March 5th and 6th. I believe that one is a go, and he might run something else. March 25 and 26 is just kind of an tournament. Community, here's some one little, it's kind of nice to see people come back. Like I mentioned earlier, all 12 basketball or volleyball courts were used this week as the weather has changed. Richard is 90 years old, comes every day and plays pickleball. Drives one of those T-Rex vehicles. Have any of you guys ever see those T-Rex vehicles? The 3-wheeled vehicles. They've got the 2 wheels in the front, the one in the back. I know I'm getting off topic here, but he just had a recall about a month ago. He's telling me, and I said, well, what was your recall? And he said, well, they said the front 2 wheels might fall off. He goes, but I can't get it fixed here. I got to take it to Lewiston to get it fixed. So he jumped in it and drove it to Lewiston to get it fixed. So he's quite the guy. So yeah, Richard and Mina had a birthday yesterday. So these pickleball folks, they're a tight knit community. It's really great to see for a number of them. It's their day. I mean, this is where they get their interaction. They're not only getting physical activity, but they're getting face-to-face time with others. And I mean, and it's really kind of cool to see. Court has talent. I'll just play this little video here. Very little talent. As they sing happy birthday here, maybe. Does this mouse work? Oh, here we go. You guys hear that? My mouse is. No, they are singing. So. What's that? Probably, okay. Yeah. It was not a very good rendition of Happy Birthday. I'll be glad to answer there. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, so they've been there a week or since Monday. Yesterday, they had their first treat day. So people and Garrett knows how to take care of each other. Happy Halloween. This is Renee. She has decorated the front over there. She said she wanted to do something special for Halloween. I just said, that's fine. That's great. Welcoming. And this was done yesterday. She's a great addition to our staff. And quite honestly, with everything that's going on with the memberships, I've directed my staff, including I just direct everything to her. I don't want I don't want people to get conflicting stories. Everybody speaks the same language, but I think it's wise that we just run through all of that stuff through one person, so it's so we know it's done right. So, any questions?
Commissioner West.
Yeah.
Just on the memberships, because we got much later when I just realized I was trying to compare like a membership I have with like the YMCA. Adult and children. And then the monthly rate, is that what you have for children as well? Or is there a family like?
There is not. And I think a family membership would have been an easier sell or an easier thing to put on the menu if we would have had some cardio equipment. We talked about it, we tossed it around, it just didn't feel right, just really didn't make sense. So.
Just the 30 days. You said that from the day you start, by 30 days out.
Yes, yes. So
So
great question. So what we did is we froze those memberships. And so our first closure was March 17th. And if there was a membership that expired on March 31st, as they're coming in, we're encouraging them to renew. Then if they do renew, which oftentimes they do, we'll give them those 15 days on top of those 30 days when they renew. Does that make sense? So we didn't actually freeze the memberships. I stopped all auto drafts we find out when we froze them, we wouldn't see this due soon sign up in their account. So we didn't know who was current without going through the whole list. So we let them sit as they are in the activities, but we disengaged the auto draft, obviously, because we were closed.
And the plan is that once they start coming back and
Yep.
they start again, then they'll just turn that back on.
If they choose to. Yep. Yeah, they've got to inform us that they want to go back into the auto draft. And we are doing new waivers. We're going to start doing new waivers on the fiscal year, follow the fiscal year, where they fill out that auto draft signature authorization form. So it's, and we're going through, I mean, Renee's busy from 7 to noon with people coming in and looking up and getting into the binder and finding how many days we owe them, and then then processing new memberships, then adding days under those new memberships. So people are taking advantage of it now.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Commissioner Hyde.
I remember that back a while back, maybe 5-6 years ago. So I don't even think Meridian City was in control at that point, but there was a shooting machine that you could like rent. Is there still something like that, or for basketball accessories and other things?
There is not. That shooting machine, I think, went away with the Y. Is that right, Garrett?
No, we actually had that shooting machine operational and working for about 1.5 years, 18 months, give or take. But it kept breaking and breaking and breaking, and parts became harder to find to fix that actual model. So it came to the point where it's like, well, we can just send this out to auction type of thing, which we do with other city asset stuff that's be disposed of, and chose not to get a new one only because it was about $8 grand, $9 grand to get a brand new one. So a little history on that.
Anyone else? Well, Jake, I just wanted to thank you. You really care about the facility and the way that you're maintaining, and I'm just making sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to use the space. It's appreciated. And your patience. Tell Jessica thank you for decorating tonight. Or tell Renee, thank you for decorating.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just got great. Oh my goodness. Okay. I know it's one of those nights. So we have no old business. We don't have any workshops. We have staff reports.
Actually, we do have the facilities tour debrief first.
Okay. Oh, I wrote over the top of it. Good night. I wanted those donuts first.
You are ready to go. I promise not to stand in your way of donuts too much longer.
I needed the sugar.
1 month ago on Wednesday, December 8th, we held our annual Parks and Rec facilities tour to accommodate some additional safety protocols. We canceled the bus and held the whole thing in Kleiner Park. We had a number of stations around the park and updated commission and council members who were able to attend on a number of different topics. I just wanted to take this opportunity to allow for any feedback, maybe your favorite part, anything you would change or for next year, or any lessons learned kind of a thing. We do hope to be back on the bus next year. We'll see what next year brings, but in my mind, next year we'll be hopefully going to South Meridian to see progress on Discovery Park Phase 2 and maybe some other activities down there, but we'll talk more about that as we get closer. For now, I just love your feedback on what we did this year and any comments that you'd like to share. So thank you.
Madam President,
Commissioner Hyde.
it's just a comment, but I just thought it was really well done and very beneficial just to see the different parts of Kleiner Park specifically. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a lot many more parks next year, hopefully. But I just thank you guys and appreciate your time in taking care of that for us.
Thank you. Hopefully you saw some new corners of the park that maybe you hadn't visited before.
Madam President. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. You guys, I mean, given the alternative, you guys did a good job of kind of laying that out. I had seen most of the park, but not the community garden. I don't think. Maybe we did see that a year or two ago, but it's nice to see that. I wish my garden looked like
Right. Me too.
that. Jeez.
They do a great job.
So, yeah, it was nice.
Madam President.
Here, Bobo, hi.
Hi. I just wanted to say, every year I'm amazed at how much the Parks and Rec does. When I hear all the presentations from everyone, it's just so amazing. You guys do such a great job of providing so many different activities, such a variety of things between the community garden and all the different tournaments and all the different community events. And it's just it was a nice setting to hear it all in such a beautiful park, to observe the park at the same time. I found it to be really enjoyable.
Thank you.
I hesitate to speak, so I'm going to say something wrong. I agree with Commissioner Bobo. And with Commissioner Bevins, given the situation where you guys came up with a really good solution, and I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I don't want to say I liked it more because I like running around to go see things that are happening throughout the city, but I agree. We were able to hear a lot more about what each department is working on, and there wasn't the chatter on the bus that we normally have, so we can hear. So thank you. And again, Rachel put together that. I've made a few comments about the package put together with all the park maps.
Yeah,
It's really incredible.
the walking model actually allowed for some of those conversations to happen between stops, which was also
Correct.
nice. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I went into it a little, hesitant myself. First time we've done it that way. And I know might be a little biased. That's why I wanted to hear from you first, but personally, I was pleased and thought it went, better than I expected that it might, given a single location, but to go around, I thought there were meaningful stops for each of the topics that were held, and being able to do a deeper dive into the park and be able to see things like the equipment used to maintain it and the community garden, and being able to walk up and see the QR codes work in the Arboretum. And, it allowed us to do more of that kind of thing that wouldn't normally happen on the bus. So I left pleased myself, but, still hope we might get to the other format in the future.
I agree. I was pleasantly surprised.
We could always request that Renee do another wrap next
I
year
was
on the
just
bus.
going to mention, I mean-
Yeah, speaking of favorites, that was kind of a highlight, wasn't it?
Yes. I keep asking for another one. She won't do it. She should do a Christmas wrap on stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
We
right.
can go to the next one, right? All right. So thank you, Steve. So now we have no old business, no workshops, and we can go into staff reports.
So, Madam President, there's a lot going on. I'm just going to highlight four for you from myself. One, you heard from Art earlier tonight, and getting to the point where we were able to do tonight's presentation has actually consumed a lot of time over the last several weeks, getting through the contracting and figuring out the scope and the schedules, and having our strategic kickoff meeting last week. And there's been a lot of behind the scenes work getting to where we could kick things off with the council and the commission this week. So lots of work there, and look forward to the ongoing participation of the council and the commission in the activities that are coming up. Second, the comprehensive financial plan is a 10-year plan that we update every fall, and it's a team effort. But we just finished updating that, which was a significant amount of work, and just wanted to highlight that. So it's kind of a 10-year forward look at those projects that we have coming for future parks, future staffing needs, things like that. There's also been an update recently to the city's strategic plan, and it's a 5-year plan where we just closed out the last strategic plan in 2020. So this one is 2021 through 2025. And I think we have 31 tactics assigned to our department in that, and looking forward to carrying forward the city's mission strategically through that planning effort as well. Finally, not maybe super interesting, but something that's on all of our plates right now at the end of one fiscal year and the beginning of the next, we do our end of season staff annual evaluations, and it's a big process, time consuming for all of us, but important for holding those conversations, getting feedback, and setting goals for the next year. So we're right in the thick of that right now, probably about halfway through, and every one of us are involved in it. So I just wanted to highlight that as something that's going on. Thanks. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. That's a lot. Who wants to connect?
I'll go. So yeah, there is a lot going on, but one of the biggest things is we're opening bids on Discovery Park Phase 2, November 3rd. So we'll see what kind of response we get, and then do the contracting portion in November, early December, and get people lined up for spring groundbreaking. On target, and we'll get it going, get it under construction.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Because it kind of feels like prices are going down a little bit. So hopefully the bids.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know if prices are, but availability might. I mean, so our bid strategy this time around was usually we bid in the winter, but I think people have caught up to that. So we're about a month ahead of that. So we're trying to get on people's schedules, for next year, and even some of it's going to happen the year after, but it's going to be at least an 18-month process because of supply chain issues and contractor availability. I know last time we opened Phase 1 of Discovery Park. It took about a year and a half to build, and we were able to open it late July. But it might go an additional 6 months. So just to set expectations. Prepare everybody. There is definitely, labor shortages and material shortages, and we expect that might domino into some of the construction.
At least it's,
It's exciting. It'll be underway next year, and we'll have plenty to look at and plenty.
President, I just have one. If at any point there becomes an opportunity to add a swing set, keep in mind, there's no swing set at Discovery Park. So I think we talked about it. It's not in the plan. It wasn't budgeted and approved. I know I didn't realize that, but I just want to mention that if there does become an opportunity,
Yep.
it's like something.
Point well taken. And swings are extremely popular. In fact, we're replacing 2 playgrounds this year, one at Chateau Park, the other one in Bear Creek Park. Both of those new sets will have swings.
thank you. We'll keep that on the radar. Right.
All right, my turn. So I've been working with the park concessionaires. There's a couple RFPs that'll go out this winter. There's 5. It's Bear Creek, Tully, Discovery, Settlers, and Story. All of those either concessions buildings or snow cone shacks will go out to bid this winter. So working with that, also working with the Main Street Market. Their last day is coming up here on, I think this Saturday will be their last day. So I'm meeting with them, just kind of talk about what next year. And like Steve mentioned earlier, we're doing all staff evals. So I'll make sure that Renee's Christmas wrap gets put into her evaluation.
With a score.
Right. And then been working with a lot of external events regarding 2022 dates and getting them locked in, getting them scored away. And then working with the clerk's office and legal to kind of potentially update our TUP process. When I say process, it's more the TUP paperwork and what we're missing, what we can add and remove. Doing a little bit of work with the Civic Block master plan and with West Data Recreation District. So otherwise, Renee's been working on Christmas and trunk or treat, as you guys all know. Jenna has been working on activity guide and instructor contracts, as well as finding space for classes. And if the Civic Block comes to reality, then we'll be looking for other space. So if you know of indoor space, let us know. Maggie and Skylar have been working on volleyball, their league fees. As some people may know, officials are hard to come by, and a lot of those rates are going up. So we got to adjust our fees to meet our current cost recovery philosophy and paying for all the hard costs, and officials are some of the hard costs, right? So we're adjusting our fees accordingly with all of our leagues straight across. Working on the Holiday Classic, volleyball and cornhole tournaments, disc golf tournament on Halloween. So it's for youth and adults, all the above. Basketball, flag football, and field reservations for 2022 is when we start putting that stuff out now and have it booked so organizations know what field space they have for next year, so how many kids they can take, what their game schedules will look like, those types of things. Audrey has been doing the mural series. She's trying to organize a unveiling for the Meridian Cycle one down here, which would be kind of neat. Working with commissioners, the HPC as well as MAC, on just roles and responsibilities of commissioners and her staff, and then traffic boxes and the initial point gallery. So that is recreation, quick and fast.
Thank you. I guess.
Thank you, Madam President. So pathways update. We are moving along with some of the infill projects. We're furthest along on the Locust Grove connections across McMillan. A farewell to Commissioner West. We did get those easements, and those plans have already been submitted to ACHD. And then the rest are at about 60%. So those should be wrapped up fairly quickly. Linder Road, we're going to group those two different connection projects together to bid. Those are pretty close to being done as well. And the crease and lateral projects. So those are furthest along. We'll bid those as soon as we can. Might have liked to have them out a bit earlier, but who knows how things are going to go. So an update on Fairview Avenue, that's our connection just along the roadway. That one's taken another step closer to being done with some concrete work. We are waiting on the truncated domes for the accessible crossings and accessible notifications. So strange scarcities as part of our construction, but that one's very close. The Star Road Underpass, that was one that we got permission from council to pursue pedestrian underpass. It was decided that we would consult for a bit of engineering work outside of a potential cost share with ACHD, just to determine what's the water level, what do we need to ask for in terms of a structure for the pedestrian underpass. So figure out what is the ask and what is a more realistic cost for that, and keep that separate until we decide with council's help, like, is this a go or a no-go? And then if it's a go, we'll apply for the cost share with ACHD as part of that project. So I've requested contract documents. We don't actually have a roster for structural engineering. So those are in the works in terms of getting that enough engineering to make a determination. 5 Mile Pathway striping. I've had some help from Phil Harris in the park shop. He's been bird dogging this one. So he got a bid. And it turns out the contractor had no yellow striping paint. So there's another bid contender. So Phil and I are headed out Friday to stripe this, or to mark the sections of the pathway. We have a plan, but I think it'll be easiest just to be out in the field and say, this is what gets striped, this is what doesn't. So we're moving forward with a different contractor on that, hoping if the weather cooperates to do that next week. And that's quite a bit. I may not keep talking. Also working on an ongoing plan review. We have a new review interface for that. So I'm trying to stay caught up on that. I'll stand for any questions. Thanks.
Do you have any questions? Awesome. Good update too. I don't have any questions. So well, actually, yes, I do. Maybe this is for Steve. For the master plan, when Art was mentioning that you guys have your kickoff team or your whatever team is put together for that, is that like Parks and Rec and other?
The project management team is internal staff.
Okay.
But there are focus groups that are made up from all kinds of different interest groups, partners, agencies that we're going to be meeting with in that November 16th through 18th window. So we're going to have a number of focus groups and stakeholder interviews and a public forum for those groups. But the project management team is pretty much the group you're looking at right here.
Okay. Well, I suppose then I need a motion for an adjournment.
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. What time is it?
I'll second that.
6.
Smith seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Well, thank you so much. Meeting is adjourned.